Hey everyone, I'm Mike from theparkstrategy.com, and on today's video we're going to break down and we are going to rank all of the best kid rides at Universal Orlando Resort. And if you've been watching our channel, you know very recently, a couple weeks ago, we actually ranked all of the rides at Universal Orlando Resort, but we decided like, hey, just to try to make it as easy as possible for families planning vacations, let's just specifically create one video breaking down the best kid rides. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. So if you are in the process of planning a Universal Orlando trip and you are visiting with younger kids and trying to figure out exactly what there is for them to do to have fun while on your Universal Orlando vacation, just be sure to stick around until the end of this video. As always, I'm very excited, so let's go get started. Thank you again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, we are about to break down the best kids rides at Universal Orlando Resort, and we're going to rank them just to help you at home and give you an idea of what the rides might look like. And there is some exciting news, as Universal did recently announce the opening of the brand new Dreamsworks Land in Universal Studios Florida. So we might even include one of the rides from that brand new section of the park in this list. You're just gonna have to stick around till the end to find out. And if you do need more videos like this, like I said, if you're planning a Universal trip and you do need more help, just be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we have a lot more similar content coming out in the coming weeks. But let's jump right in. And of course, one of the main questions that we receive here at the Park Prodigy from so many families is, does Universal have kid-friendly rides, right? And of course, Universal is known for its thrill rides. However, they do have a bunch of rides that are geared and are great for young kids. Now, when we're breaking down this video, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give you all of the official Universal Orlando rides without height requirements, and then we're going to give you essentially a quote-unquote Universal Orlando kid-friendly rides with height requirements. Now, for the premise of this video, what we did was really we stuck to the rides that were either 40 inches or less. And 40 inches, ballpark is going to be, every kid is different, right? Every child is different, but 40 inches is going to be right between 4 to 5 years old. So you'll see Universal Orlando, and I would really say that's kind of like, we have official blogs, and on the blogs, we really say perfect for 8 years old or higher, 7 to 8 or higher, right? And that's essentially will allow them to start to go on to every single Universal Orlando ride. This video is specifically, if your kids are like right at that, right at the point where they might be tall enough for, a lot of the rides, or of course, a lot of families have kids of different ages. So, maybe some of the older kids want to start going on the thrill ride, specifically want to go to Harry Potter, but you're still trying to figure out, okay, what do we do with the little ones, right? That's kind of where my mind is at as putting this video together. So let's start with the official Universal Orlando rides without height requirements. In at number 1, we do have the Hogwarts Express. Over to number 2, we have Kang and Kudos Twirl and Hurl. We have Carousel, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, Storm Force Acceleration, and then quote-unquote Illuminations Villain Con Minion Blast, which is one of the newer Universal Orlando rides. It doesn't have a height requirement, but again, you do have to be, it's kind of more of an interactive ride. So yes, you can bring your young kids onto this ride. But whether they can enjoy it or really take advantage of it is going to be different for every family. Over to the official Universal Orlando rides with height requirements. Again, this is going to be 40 inches or below. So we have in at number 1, E.T. Adventure must be at least 34 inches tall. Despicable Me Minion Mayhem must be at least 40 inches tall. The Simpsons Ride, 40 inches tall. Transformers The Ride 3D, 40 inches tall. Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, 40 inches tall. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, 40 inches tall. Cat in the Hat, 36 inches. Flight of the Hippogriff must be at least 36 inches. And the other important thing to keep in mind too is for a lot of these rides, you do have the kids do have to be supervised by an adult. Okay, so now into the rankings, right? If you're short on time, you're just trying to figure out like what are the best ones for my kids. Here is the official ranking for all of the official, Universal Orlando rides for kids. And this is going to be both with the no height requirement and then also rides with height requirements. So in at number 14, and we do have One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. And so this ride is going to be located in Islands of Adventure, and this ride does not have a minimum height requirement. This is another Seuss Landing ride, which essentially gives you the idea of a flying fish that gently glides up and around fun-flowing fountains. On a thrill rating standpoint, though, we are going to give this a thrill rating of 1.5 out of 10. Over to the next one, in at number 13, and we do have the Carousel. So this is going to be also in Islands of Adventure. There is no minimum height requirement for the Carousel. This is unlike a traditional carousel. This ride features a variety of whimsical creatures and characters from around the Dr. Seuss books, offering a unique twist on a classic amusement park attraction. So from a thrill rating standpoint, we are going to give this a 1 out of 10. Not as thrilling as being spun around, I guess. But in at number 12, next we do have Kang and Kudos Twirl and Hurl. So again, this is different. This is going to be over in Universal Studios Florida. There is no minimum height requirement here. And this is going to be located in Springfield, home of The Simpsons. Spin in a flying saucer and soar above the crowds on this fun ride. Again, no minimum height requirement. On a thrill rating standpoint, we're going to be in at another 1.5 out of 10. Over to number 11, and we do have Storm Force Acceleration. Now, this is going to be over in Marvel Superhero Island in Islands of Adventure Park. And Storm Force Acceleration is an exciting attraction which essentially invites guests to join forces with X-Men Storm in her epic battle against the villain Magneto. So this is going to be a thrill rating standpoint of 2.0 out of 10. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but we do have no minimum height requirement here. It's hard to keep up at this point in time. Over to number 10. And this makes complete sense because I don't really know any 4 or 5-year-old that would get excited for Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon, but we do have Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon. So this is a minimum height requirement of 40 inches tall, and this is going to be located over in Universal Studios Florida. And guests get to, quote unquote, race through New York with Jimmy Fallon on a motion simulator ride. From a thrill rating standpoint, this is going to be in a 3.5 out of 10. Over to number 9, and we do have the Cat in the Hat. So this is going to be over in Islands of Adventure Park, and we do have a minimum height requirement of 36 inches tall for this ride. And so on this ride, guests can go through the familiar story of the zany Cat in the Hat. This ride is a nostalgic, goofy, and extremely fun ride for guests of all ages, and we do have a thrill rating factor of 2.0 out of 10. In at number 8, next on the list, we do have Transformers The Ride 3D. So in this motion simulation ride, guests will be taken along on a classic Transformers and Bumblebee Optimus Prime sort of adventure. So there is a minimum height requirement of 40 inches, and we do have a thrill rating factor here of 4 out of 10. In at number 7, we have Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, and I think a lot of the younger kids will love this ride just because of the Despicable Me characters. And this is going to be over in Universal Studios Florida. It's also important to note that this is different from the Minion Con Blast that I spoke about. I do think kids of all ages will really enjoy this ride specifically. But they do have to be a minimum height requirement of 40 inches tall. And on this motion simulator ride, you will be invited to join Gru, his daughters, and the Minions on a wild ride through Gru's house and laboratory. On a thrill rating standpoint, we are going to give this a 3.5 out of 10. Now, in at number 6, and we do have the Flight of the Hippogriff. Now, I've always said that this is one of the great, starting coasters for young kids, and for a couple months there, this was the really only starting coaster for young kids. But you're going to see, coming in a little bit later in this video, we do have a brand new kid coaster coming to Universal Studios Florida. And so sticking with Flight of the Hippogriff, this is one of the Harry Potter rides located in Islands of Adventure Park. We do have a minimum height requirement here of 36 inches, and this is a great beginner coaster, like I said, where guests will pretty much board a hippogriff and go on an amazing journey. And you do have some really, really cool views of Hogwarts Castle as well, which is something that we love about this ride. This is going to be a different thrill rating standpoint. This is going to be a 4 out of 10. I would say this is a different type of thrill, though, than, let's say, Jimmy Fallon or Transformers. We just gave this a thrill out of 10 because you are really in like sort of a kid coaster, and that could have a different thrill experience depending on if you're used to those sort of rides. In at number 5, we have a classic E.T. adventure. And so this is going to be over in Universal Studios Florida. We do have a minimum height requirement here of 34 inches tall. And of course, as the only original Universal Studios Florida ride left, this is one of the best rides for kids of all ages, maybe even some of those, older millennials that still love to act like kids like myself. So this is a wholesome ride that is going to be great for the entire family. From a thrill rating standpoint, we are going to give this a 2.5 out of 10. Now over in at number 4, and we do have the Simpsons ride. This is going to be over in Universal Studios Florida with a minimum height requirement of 34 inches tall. So this virtual reality type roller coaster style ride takes riders to Krusty Land with the Simpsons clan for a nice fun day in the parks. Over for a thrill rating standpoint, we're back to more of the motion simulator thrill rating factors. I would say this is going to be a thrill rating of a 4 out of 10. And then in at number 3, we do have Villicon Minion Blast. Now, again, this does not have a minimum height requirement, but you do have to be mindful of just how interactive this ride is. And so, every kid might have a different experience, but if they are old enough to really enjoy and kind of play along with this ride, we do think that they really will love it and enjoy it. So essentially, in this ride, guests can join minions as they aim for super villain stardom. This fully interactive gaming experience is the newest addition to Universal Studios Florida, and we do have a thrill rating standpoint of a 2 out of 10. In at number 2, we have The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, which is located in Islands of Adventure Park. This ride does have a minimum height requirement of 40 inches and is honorary guest of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Guests will travel through the streets of New York and fight off our favorite villains. Now, this is a thrill rating factor of 4.5 out of 10, and that brings us to number 1 minus a bonus. Number 1 on the list of the best rides for kids at Universal Orlando, Florida, and we do have the Hogwarts Express. And what I love about the Hogwarts Express is, of course, there is no minimum height requirement, but I do think that even from a ride standpoint, Universal did such a great job with this ride, especially if you are a Harry Potter fan. You're going to really, really enjoy this ride. The other thing I love about this, specifically for families who are trying to figure out how do I get the most out of my day with my young kids, you can go on this ride. Specifically, you need the park-to-park ticket, but if you have the park-to-park ticket, you could ride this ride both ways, meaning from Hogsmeade Village in Islands of Adventure over to Diagon Alley in Universal Studios Florida, and then vice versa, and it's a different experience both ways. So this is kind of like getting 2 rides, in one. And so guests who board the Hogwarts Express will go on a magical journey between the 2 parks, and the immersive train ride experience recreates the iconic journey to and from Hogwarts as seen in the Harry Potter films. From a thrill rating standpoint, this is not going to be very thrilling. We're giving this a 1 out of 10. However, from an enjoyability standpoint, if that's even a word, we're giving this a 10 out of 10. And in as a bonus, like I said, Universal Orlando did recently announce that the brand new DreamWorks Land is going to be opening up in the summer of 2024. And with that is coming a brand new ride. The Trolls Troller Coaster is coming to Universal Studios Florida, and I do think this is going to be something, just this land in general, right? Specifically, we're bringing back Shrek, we're bringing a lot of the DreamWorks characters, specifically Kung Fu Panda, and now, of course, we do have Trolls, and we have a brand new, quote-unquote kid roller coaster based on the Trolls characters. I think this is going to really change the game and just give so much more for families visiting Universal Orlando to do. So we do have that coming down the pipeline. I don't know how high this is going to be on the list, right? Is it going to be better than the Hogwarts Express? We'll just have to kind of wait and see. But that is a bonus as one of the best rides coming to Universal Orlando in 2024 that you can enjoy in 2024 and beyond. But that is essentially the list, everyone. Those are the best kids rides at Universal Orlando at this point in time. I really, really hope that you found this video helpful. And if you are in the process of planning a Universal Orlando trip and you do need more additional tips and tricks like this, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. And as a thank you for sticking around all the way till the end of this video, I do have a special promo code that you can go use on our website for discounted theme park tickets. Also, you can go and use it on a discounted Universal Orlando vacation package, whatever your heart desires. And that promo code is going to be YouTube25. But I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.